Alrighty. There's actually a fun glitch going on right now. I don't know if it's been there before, but I've noticed that there is a bit that is stuck on Will's camera. And it's... Yeah, right there. So that's some sweet, sweet money for me, Will. Alright, so... Worm. It's just spit out Riel with this sort of plume of acid and blood, and all it'll be dried blood and ichor and all these horrible nasties. And then it goes in. It's gonna take a bite at General.
Of course it is.
So what's your AC now with shield?
24.
Yeah, it hits.
Oh, even against a 24, that fucker.
Probably got like a plus 15 attack mod or something crazy.
Yeah, it's only
okay.
a 9 in that case. I can't do much more than.
Give me a dex. But it's
shield.
worth. It's the great thing is, like it comes carrying out of you. You hold your hands out, and a magical barrier appears, and it just goes like.
No.
And there's nothing. Give me a dex save.
Mm-hmm.
I want this thing to melee me.
You're fucking on fire.
Exactly.
I know.
But it's not going to attack you because you're on fire. Okay, it also
We know a 19 failed. How does a 20 do against
you
that?
actually pass.
Oh god! Of course I was one off.
Now, it also does pretty bad damage, doing only 16 piercing damage. So it's then going to attack you. As it sort of bites you, it almost like starts turning, and you're like in its presence as it does so. Multitude of these spines and barbs on its body just sort of start. It's almost like a hedgehog or something. You know, they start attacking at you. That with your shield actually is a miss. That's one of the things where sort of you're still holding the shield up. Like it bites around you, and it sort of recoils, and you're still there, like. And then it scrapes past you, and you see these again like spear-length spines along its side just snap against the shield as it moves and turns.
Good.
And that's its turn. So after that is General.
Well, that was a little frightening. By the time I started whooping this thing's ass.
Frightening, but you did really well.
Yeah. Okay. Frightening. The time to start whooping this thing's ass. So I'm going to. I can't release that spell. Can't do that. Nope. So I'm just gonna start ripping into this thing. Let's do. Not. Is that one? That one?
It attacked you from here because it had reach, but you do need to get a little closer, but not enough to be a bother.
I am going to do defensive flourish until the start of. Yep, I'm going to do defensive flourish as part of my attack roll. Here's my attack roll.
Do you want to move to the a bit
advantage.
one to the top or one to the right?
Oh, my apologies. One to the right.
Mm-hmm. So defensive
Actually,
flourish.
theoretically, even two to the right, just in case it's a factor in the future.
I know, right? Yeah.
I'm going to make my attack roll with advantage, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
did you take a did you make a concentrate?
I critical hit. I did. I got a 17, so I succeeded, and
Cool.
I critical hit. And I'll remind you why I critical hit, because Hexblade's Curse, you critical hit on a natural 19.
That's a shame. You should have really applied that to your weaponry. No, that's a crit.
Oh yeah, you can do that, can you?
Yeah.
But I have to make another group of weapons again.
No, you
All
can
right.
just change it situationally, but yeah.
Fucking sweet. So for my first attack, it's going to be 13 plus what's that? Another 1d8. So I'm just going to roll 1d8. Woo! So 14 plus 6. So 20 points of damage for the first attack.
Mm-hmm.
My second attack roll with it. Right? Because I get 2 attacks with it. Yes. Just reminding myself.
You
yes.
have extra attack, yes.
Yes. I rolled a natural 1. And that
Halfling
re-rolled
luck
into a 20.
Halfling luck just saved the day. No dice are rolling on my
So it's 20.
this tray over here. Do I have to? That's a shame. Oh well.
My damage is going to be, what's that? My brain's not working. 22 plus.
I'll have to change that later on. 'Cause
I have to roll this a second time because that also gets doubled. So 22 plus. Oh, no, that's just a +6. So it's 22 plus 6 is 28 more points of damage.
Wow. Describe what
on.
you're doing. Okay.
I got one more attack.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, wait, there's one.
Technically, you do, yeah.
Yeah, parrying dagger.
Yeah. That's a miss. Yay! So what do you do?
So as I, rushing up, trying to line up my attack and everything, so I took the hit, and like you said, and I am just barely able to hold on to my spell. I kind of line up my attack to make sure that I'm very well set up for Riel on the opposite side. And just as I'm running to line myself into the attack, I turn and I slice this thing probably quicker than it was able to react or notice that I was going to be there because it probably assumed it swallowed me, right? And then as soon as I line up my attack, I come in with a parrying dagger, use that for the attack. Unfortunately, it doesn't pierce or hurt it, and then just plunging hard with the other hand to pierce the thing with the sword, gutting it open, spilling out whatever's. Trying to make myself a hole for the future in case I need it.
Yay, holes! Awesome. After that is Riel.
My spiritual weapon is still sitting here.
I get up and I'm a Smite Knight. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to smack it. Advantage. No, don't get that. Advantage. Boom.
That's a hit.
Dun, dun, dun. And then, boom. And,
Oh!
5 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8!
I crit and I don't even tickle your damage. That's amazing. I double crit and you fucking are amazing. Oh,
Smite Knight, baby!
One fucking attack is amazing.
And then second attack.
And second attack.
Ollie's like, I'm gonna have to make this
Oh!
Oh!
Actually, that didn't double the smite, did it? It didn't auto double.
No, it doesn't auto double the smite.
So okay, that would
click it
improve. That would affect the improved divine smite as well, wouldn't it?
It did the improved divine smite already.
Oh, yes, it does. It does the improved. Does it double the undead bonus or not? Okay, so that means in total this is. I'm just going to roll the undead bonus together with it, so it's 68 at this point. I'm rolling.
Jesus Christ!
You say I have to do a lot of maths? No.
You have to recalculate. He just adds.
Ian, describe this kill.
So it is as it's going for general. I just get up, still with the glowing sword, and I'm just leaping, like stabbing into it, basically climbing into its back, and then stabbing the blade into the back of its head. It just like bursts out with light and explodes.
It explodes. The headless husk of the worm goes, and like its tongues, like this has got multiple, sort of loll out. And maybe as you sort of land, you're like, you take a heroic breath, and you realize the ground's still shaking.
There's another one.
Bullshit. DM magic.
You just rolled what? 114 damage.
So, yeah, I don't know.
It's like 114.
Is actually gonna come out just outside.
I mean, realistically, how many of these things would it take to tunnel a city over? A lot.
One. And it's actually right beside Devi, but Devi is not in this realm, so it's not aware. But if you for chat, so you can't see, it's a nice gentleman caller outside right now. And after that is Mikael. As you see this one fall, and you realize the ground is still shaking, and you feel an explosion outside. If you were to fly, you can just fly straight in a line and make it outside. That's totally how you work, because you've got that little spider hole in the wall here.
Yeah, I would, hold on 1 second. Is this concentration? It is, so that would drop. That sucks.
Investitute if you flew out?
Yeah, if I flew out, that drops. You know what? I feel like I have to, though. I have to fly out,
you know, it was your backup plan. And it's,
yeah, I
it's
cast
outside.
fly on myself.
Let me get rid of all the fucking bonuses and cool things I gave you.
Yeah, there's lots of... Hey, I blame you. You didn't make this worm come up in here.
This one was a little late.
And I'm gonna fly out to... Right?
Yeah, I put you outside, but you moved 20 feet.
Yep. And...
So you've got a whole lot more.
Yep, 20 more. Doom. So I moved to here.
Yeah,
Actually-
Erin can't attack the monsters right away. She has to do about 3 turns of buffs. First of
3
all.
turns of buffs before she can do anything. So I fly to there, and then I look at this thing, and I'm standing above it as the flames slowly like drop from my body, and I'm not engulfed in flame anymore. And I just look at my hands that have this slight bit of flame left, and I throw it, throwing a firebolt at this thing. Oh, no advantage. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Debbie's threatening from the other side.
That's not how ranged attacks work, and that also wouldn't be flanking even if it was.
Okay, that's fine. I'll take the no advantage.
Didn't we just say that range attacks work that way like 2 sessions ago?
Never,
on the
ever,
ethereal plane.
ever. And also, to do flanking, you have to be able to draw a line through the middle of the target. Which is incredibly easy to do with such a big thing, but you're attacking from basically the same side.
Right, no,
But also,
that's fine.
you don't know I'm there. It doesn't know I'm there.
Yeah, she is also not there. That is absolutely a massive hit that you do for massive damage, attacking its weak point. So as this other one just burrows out of the earth just now, you actually just throw it a firebolt at the top of its head. It just sort of explodes another chunk outwards, and like, does this thing have eyes? If it did, they're not there anymore. You know.
And that's my turn.
All right, Devi, you reappear. See behind you the.
When I reappear right there.
The
So I can
worm.
do it within 10. You're confusing it with something else, Scott. I'll correct you later. And I'm going to attack him.
I love a casual dismissal of Scots.
This is absolutely just a no, Scott. There was never a thing.
My brain, no. My brain just can't hold
It
on to certain
wasn't-
details.
It wasn't threatening. It was specifically sneak attack. It's something its entire.
Gotcha. Somebody adjacent with a rage attack with sneak attack.
that is a
not
hit.
with- Gotcha. That makes more sense.
I mean, actually, sneak attack makes total sense because you just freaking blinked. It nothing personal, kid. Slash at this thing. Awesome.
And then I'm gonna bonus action disengage and move.
As you may just freaking vanish again, and also you're 4 people right now. So
And also I'm 4 people right now.
it's such a shame that the dice aren't working on screen today because they're really good. There's a lot of dice flying right now.
Yeah, there's
And
a
you're
lot
not
of
just here.
this.
Okay. I'm glad. Because guess what the worm's gonna do? First of all, it's gonna squeeze its way through the doorway of the keep. Crunching it apart as it does, more or less. I mean squeeze. It's
Oh, you know what? I hit the wrong button, but that's okay. Because I didn't add my booming blade damage. It's fine.
Is it Blooming Blade concentration? I thought it
Yeah,
lasted.
did
a
you
while.
cast Booming Blade?
Booming blade's a cantrip. It's not concentration. And
Okay,
yeah,
it was straight
I
for
always
concentration.
cast it when I attack.
'Cause
Oh,
there's
sorry,
other
you
tricks that
didn't
concentrate
mention
on.
it explicitly, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I just forgot to hit the button.
And this chases you as you start, like, sort of... You very carefully run back. I mean, as carefully as you can run when you're fighting a giant worm creature. It immediately just, like, crunches open the doorway of the keep. And some of it does fall on it, but, like, enough wood doesn't really matter. And we'll go and try and eat you.
Okay. So, first of all, we get to roll
First
the
of
mirror
all,
image.
how dare you?
How dare you? And it's gonna hit an image.
So it goes... and just eats a fake Devi. I imagine they kind of all scatter out when that happens as well, which is pretty awesome.
I imagine no party member has any reaction whatsoever. We're all like, we're not worried. That's not real.
And
Did
When the
then
others blink out at the same time, that's when we get scared.
is going to attack you again,
Mhm.
which is also going to be a hit.
I roll the mirror image before you tell me it's a hit or not.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because they have different AC, don't they?
They don't have different AC. It's not AC.
Yeah, they have different AC and
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
It's not an AC. Oh, do they have an AC?
They do
They
have
have
an
AC, I think.
It's been so long since I've used the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
They
the
have
same?
an AC as well as a chance to hit you, and it doesn't
Yeah.
hit, right?
It does not hit me. It's an
Awesome.
illusion.
Just so you have like 2 left now, right? Or is there 1 left?
I have 1 left.
Awesome.
One.
So it like bites down at 1 and it vanishes, and this is not an intelligent creature. So you see it going like as it's just like dust
Chewing
in the
it.
air as your illusion dissipates, and then it sort of like just crunches and almost constricts around another one, but just sort of pops as if there was into like clouds, and it's just chewing. It is going to move slightly more to sort of like represent that constricting, but is not going to make another attack because it can't. General.
Okay, first of all, when the other one died, one of the nifty things that happened was as it died, a bit of its essence seemed to, like, even though the thing collapsed, some of its essence itself actually converged and pulled back into me. And you could actually see that my character
Actually,
was doing a bit better when that happened. Please.
wait a second, Ollie. It moved to like a diagonal spot for me. It moved out of my range. I get an attack of opportunity, don't
It's
I?
not diagonal from you. It's still technically that space is
Okay,
it.
okay. So I can hit it from here as well.
Yeah. That's just one of the things with being a circular token. That is.
Yeah, it's like it's coming out of that area still, right? It's still so big that it's.
There's a tentacle in that square.
There's tentacle in all the squares. This isn't actually a tentacle monster. I know there's a lot of them in D&D. You don't
Ollie
need to
seems to like
try.
tentacle
You don't need to
monsters.
try and
Those are
tentacle up.
mandibles, not tentacles.
Yeah, well, exactly right. But you don't need to try and add tentacles. The tentacles will be there. In fact, it would be quite hard to do a D&D game without tentacles showing up.
So
Good call.
I move up. As my move action, I'm going to cast
So
Fairy
every
Fire again.
time it's rolled really fucking well on these saves, and then its negative dex modifier brings it down within your DC, and it fails.
If it's got a negative dex mod and he's got a 19 save mod, it needs to roll on that 20.
He's aware.
So there you go. I move my sword as my bonus, move up there as my move, and cast that spell as my standard. I'm good to go.
Riel.
Okay. Well, I was going to ask if getting up here counted as flanking, but if it's very far.
Oh, it absolutely does, because you can draw a line through it.
Yeah.
Them's the rules. They're actually in the book.
They are. Yep. So I am.
Which book? Shut up! Don't at me. That's a hit.
That is a hit. Excellent.
I really like the Fairy Flyer player here because like you have massive modifiers, but if you just had bum rolls, but you're just canceling out the chance of having bad rolls, so you're just demolishing, and it's great. I love it.
And second attack. Damage everyone.
Yeah. It's one of the things
I mean-
when you attack this thing, Riel, and especially when you add your smites, it just explodes huge chunks of undead flesh. That's very much how radiant energy works against undead in Jarviskjir. It blows it up. It doesn't like just dissipate or anything. No, it just.
I see it as the sword cuts through it, it leaves behind that sparkling 1990s X-Men Gambit ability, and then it just a couple moments later.
I'll allow that. I like Gambit. I actually have homebrewed a bard class that's basically Gambit.
There's no Gambit Pathfinder build. I think Eric found once, but that doesn't.
All right, and after that is Miguel, who is flying.
So I'm gonna fly back in because it's back inside now. Yeah.
Do you want to fly back in the way you came, or use the door?
Yeah, just the same exact way I came to land. Right.
I'll
on
put you back.
Okay. You do you, bro.
So you can't go through the walls.
Yeah, it wouldn't
Is
let
the
me. I was like,
issue.
I'm not. So I will fly back in, And I will turn to this thing. No, I shouldn't do it. I wanted to be real crazy, but I'm not gonna do it. I will.
You are a pyromancer. Your job is to do damage to your own party.
No, it wasn't even damage to my party. It was damage to myself. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fly. Can I instead of flying back directly to where I was, fly in through the front door because it was closer and fly into this thing's mouth? You
can try. That would be an athletics or acrobatics against its acrobatics or athletics.
I'm not on fire. I'm just gonna point that out. I'm just gonna.
You are a imposing object.
Yeah, no, I get it. Athletics or
acrobatics.
Right,
it's almost like a weird grapple-esque thing. So it's one of those things. You fly in. You fly into its maw, but as you do, it turns and starts crunching at you. So it is actually going to get an attack at you as you fly into its mouth.
Good.
Yeah, I think going into its mouth is leaving a threatening square. So...
and that attack does hit.
Okay. So upon a melee attack hitting me,
yes,
a creature takes.
Woo-wee!
So no, hold on. Plus 16, so it takes 19 damage.
I mean, that is really good.
Come on, that was awesome.
After all of those dice, we've been
this is the
D4.
It is a D4 plus my level. So
it's one of those things. You see him fly from outside. And now I'm thinking about it more. He probably flies like kind of Iron Man with like fire from his hands. Iron Man / Alex Mercer from Prototype.
Fair enough.
And you fly into its mouth and you see it go like hov, and then just like a sort of burst of fire and smoke from inside its mouth. And it comes out of other parts too, because there's these massive holes in it. It is going to do 17 piercing damage to you, and give me a dexterity save.
Sure. And is it my action to fly into its mouth? I assume so, but.
Yeah, that whole thing was kind of
just making sure.
That was kind of your whole turn play.
Yeah.
And you are swallowed by it, which is kind of was your intent, but this removed the opportunity to leave freely.
Right. Would you say I have a bonus action?
Yeah.
All right. As my bonus action, I am going to use a sorcery point to cast at level. At level 7 this time, because I don't have a level 6 left. It doesn't do anything extra, but...
I haven't done swallowing rules in 5e.
They're
you have
great.
to make a concentration check to successfully cast a spell when currently being swallowed, grappled, or anything that is pinning you down from being able to do...
There might be some kind of role
components.
about you not being able to cast spells while grappled, but I don't run it.
I think you're incapacitated while you're...
While you're swallowed, right?
You're restrained while you're in here, but it doesn't stop you casting spells.
Somatic component spells? Because if you're restrained, how do you do somatic components? I mean, obviously, Will's character would know this before he flew in, right? He's level 16.
You can.
I just don't know.
But you totally valid point. I've never really disallowed it because this is cool.
Ollie, don't give a fuck. Do this shit.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So it will take
Awesome.
1d10 fire damage upon me casting the spell.
Yes.
Does he even get a saving throw and you're inside of it? Like.
No, but this is just it happens. I think
This just happens.
Yeah, so he takes 8 damage, and then that's my whole turn.
So the worm is
Next
glowing,
turn will be fun. Yeah,
glowing
next
from the inside. After that is Devi.
Alright, I am going to attack it using Booming Blade and a sneak attack.
Can you sneak attack something that has one of your allies inside it?
Probably, why not?
Why not, right?
This is going to be a lot of dice.
Oh.
That's gonna be way too much dice.
Are we
This
gonna
is
break
just
the
going
game?
to break roll 20.
All right, this
Maybe.
thing's dead. Close to it, not necessarily, but
Hot fucking damn.
Okay, give me a minute.
He's like, you ruined my plan!
It is still up.
yay!
Wow.
Does William get hurt?
I'll take some of that damage.
No, actually.
Ooh. Look at all this
Some
dice.
swallows do, but this is not that kind of swallow.
Can we just take a moment to appreciate that? Can we count this?
Yeah.
20, 40, 60, 80, 90. Wait, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 98, 103 points of damage. Am I
Yeah.
doing that wrong? 103
No,
points of damage.
doing
And
that
one
correct.
attack. One attack. 103 points of damage. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
100. Like, my character is kind of badass. He has 85 health normally. Okay? Dead. Like, DD dead.
It is crit city right now.
That is fucking amazing. That is like a 29 chance to hit too. That's
All he's
fucking
gonna
amazing.
kill you. All he's gonna murder you.
This is
So,
fucking amazing.
Yeah, parts of it are just like kind of like booming and exploding with thunder damage.
Like-
yeah.
That are going everywhere.
You think your radiant did that shit? I got booming shit.
They're the crit sisters.
We bring
Yes.
boom. We bring the boom.
So it's its turn next. First of all, oh, do you have more shit to do?
Oh, please.
I mean, first of all, you might
You know
disappear
what?
into space.
I might disappear into space. Do you want to do that? Let's do that first.
What if
No,
you're
'cause
ending
I
your
moved
turn?
first.
She's
No,
gonna
I-
come back, the only clean
That's
one.
actually good.
Oh yeah. No, just finish your turn in general.
I'm just gonna move away,
that's
and then
probably smart.
potentially disappear.
Is that disappearing? I don't know.
No, it has to be 11 or higher. I'm invisible.
Okay, so the worm, oh shitty biscuits, is going to first of all deal a bunch of damage to Will.
Oh, it lived?
Yeah,
Whoa.
it's going to do 38 damage to Will,
Mm-hmm.
That's a
acid.
con save.
and then is going to like it's while Riel's while Devi's like backing up, it's still exploding. It's still exploding with these like runes popping up all over it, just exploding chunks, and some of it is just bone or the exoskeleton that's moving as it drags itself forwards. Actually, no, it's not going to drag itself anywhere. Well, it does drag itself to sort of go at Riel, and is going to try and attack her. Oh no! And it's one of those things where, as it goes to attack you, you just see this well of light inside Riel just completely repel it, and it goes like, and is almost pushed back for a split moment. But then sort of twists very quickly and does slam its side into you instead of biting you. Give me a Constitution save.
Constitution. Oh dearie me.
You're a paladin.
Oh dearie me!
Save!
Woo! That's 20 piercing damage, and also
17 piercing damage.
yes.
And also I'm poisoned or something.
Well, there's poison happening. I need to. When I roll it on here, it's because it's a lot. 36 poison damage.
Jesus Christ!
It's not because where as it sort of crushes into it with its side because it couldn't bite you, just one of those barbs just pierces through the sort of chainmail underplate of your armor, and you just look down and you see it, and you're like, oh, that's not so much of a wound, but then you feel just as your, there's another sort of cycle of blood in you, just sort of, and you feel the pain rack through your body. What was that Constitution save for? Okay. Oh, for concentration. You're golden.
Yeah, 'cause I was-
you're
yeah,
a
I
golden
figured
god. And after that is general.
Okay, this thing's fucked up, and I do not want to kill steal to the people that actually fucked it up. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and because it's super important right now, lesser restorations remove the poisoned condition from Riel. Because
She's not poisoned.
oh, it doesn't have the poison condition.
No. Ian said that as a suggestion, but no, it was just a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. Then fuck. I think I might have to actually still kill steal. Okay. Well.
Oh fuck! Oh no!
His way rolls double nat ones.
That would be because here's the thing, there must be balance. So if these ones don't get out now, who knows where they're gonna be?
The Lich fight.
Oh, that would be good.
Using this, and I'm using a regular one, so that's an 8, and then I'm gonna do my attack. So 29 chance to hit. Excuse me. Damage, please. There we go. Plus, I don't have any hexes on this one. Nope. So it's 11 points of slashing damage.
You know, it's okay. It's not enough to get the kill.
My other one, nothing there and nothing there. So I'm going to do another just regular attack with it. 29. 11 points of damage. I'm fine with it.
He's consistent, if anything.
I'm fine with just injuring the thing. And then parrying dagger. Oh, I miss.
You always seem to miss with your offhand.
I'm fine with. You know what? I am perfectly fine with how this round played out because my AC is currently at 27.
Exactly,
so I'm
right.
fine with it.
After that, Riel.
Guess what I'm doing? First, I have to check what spells I have.
Attack, smite.
It's Fairy Fire still up on it, isn't it?
Yeah. General hasn't taken damage.
Boom.
Oh, you cast Fairy Fire on this one too?
And,
Yeah, of course I did. Come on now.
I didn't. I'm inside it. I don't.
Yes,
get the
ma'am.
benefit.
He doesn't count the flourish in his attack damages, but I do it.
23, yeah.
Yeah,
23.
yeah. Just.
Oh, he's just like, yeah, just kill it. And
That was a pretty sad smite, actually.
That was a pretty sad smite.
But it's still enough to get the kill with the whole turn in general. Plus, it was on like very little HP.
Yep.
So what do you do? Is it the same thing where you climb up it again, smiting as you go until it finally falls?
Yeah, that's probably about. That's the limit of my creativity, really.
Well, you're playing a Smite Knight Paladin type.
I'm doing my job, yeah.
You're doing your duty for your queen and country, or emperor and country. As you do, you know, the thing falls heavily to the side like the other one. The other one, which is already, like, almost flaking apart into this horrible detritus. Mikhail, you can now walk out of the mouth of the worm. In the rules, it says you have 20 feet of movement and you walk out. But it's the end of the fight. As the rumbling in the ground stops. And the worms sort of, the undulating stops and their bodies just deflate into very little.
I walk out of the thing and I'm just like covered in some type of acid, just gross. I look at the things and go, good job, guys.
I'm personally barely injured, so I'm gonna look to you and say,
You did really well at avoiding damage in that fight.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm as alright as I could be.
It was a move as bold as it was foolish, but it seemed to have had its effect. Burning it from the inside as it was attacked from the out.
I have to say, I haven't actually tried something like that before, but it felt right.
Oh. We don't know if this is going to be the last of them. There was already twice the number than we expected. Perhaps we should hold this position for a while and see if more are going to come our way. A moment's rest then, and see what we can discover.
I believe that would be wise.
Yeah, sounds smart. I basically would take the time that we're waiting to see if any more are coming, while I'm still like engulfed in flame, to just burn the bodies of.
Yeah, I was gonna say you take a short rest. And you burn the bodies. I think that's entirely reasonable to be able to do that in a short
Before you burn
now.
both the bodies, I actually, if you go to burn them, I'll be like, before you do that, I need to investigate them just a little bit and see what we can discover.
Give me a nature roll if you're looking at the bodies.
I mean, I'm going to end up doing this.
Legend lore. Legend lore. So these are, as you, Scott, are aware, they are undead purple worms. They're huge beasts that travel and exist in the Underdark. They actually travel through the Underdark, creating the caverns that are the Underdark, as well as something that is often referred to as the Shuffle. You've heard rumors of the Underdark and things. but not a huge amount, because halflings aren't those kind of people who would venture into that place or deal with people who do. It's mostly a dwarven thing. Dwarves have talked about these creatures just destroying mining operations, but they're not intelligent enough to be allied to a cause. Clearly, in this situation, they have been risen by, assumedly, Verminus himself, and just sent to attack Goldport and then here. Is there anything else that it really would give you more precise? It is. That's more or less all you know. But there's not, despite how much they're talked about, not much is known about the creatures.
Okay, so I would kind of like discovering this information, just to relay that in like a much more like kind of story-esque format way, probably relating it to a tale that I've heard at some point.
Exactly, there are old dwarven like war songs about these things.
But also knowing that when we re-meet with the dwarf again in the future, I'll bring that to their attention, and maybe some iconic, part of it. So while he's burning the rest of it, some iconic piece of it, whether it be like a tooth or a whatever, so I can present it to the dwarf so he knows that this isn't a tall tale, but in fact what we're saying.
Yeah, the almost annoying thing about these creatures is they don't really have an iconic body part. You could take a tooth, you could take a spine, but they could be from almost any other creature that could have anything like that. But you can still do it. I mean, I was just saying, from a trophy perspective, it's almost a little bit disappointing.
Of course. But whatever it is, because I don't intend to keep it, to give it to them, just to give credence to our story. So even if it's just a rotting bit of flesh that's clearly belonged to something much larger, I don't care.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting things where, so you take your long rest, you bandage up your wounds, but in more or less your cases, you're just sort of using holy magics to seal up the wounds. But you're not that terribly injured. You watched the great holes that they left in the ground, and they're these quite vast tunnels. I mean, if you were so inclined, you could probably walk back to Goldport inside them.
Honestly,
it's
not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea to keep note for the future, maybe. They're stable tunnels, but you watch them for an hour, nothing comes out of them aside from actually some, like large insects like fire beetles and things scuttle out, but nothing that you would deem a threat. I mean, bugs like that, they're not really going to just go out and try to attack you, but clearly it does tap into subterranean life, as it's probably tunneled through other caverns and just sort of they're like, oh, what's this? What's these smells? But you watch it for around about an hour, and you do that, and you figure, General, that these tunnels aren't going directly to the Underdark. It's probably was like brought this way. Now the tunnels that it caused under Goldport, they may be far more dangerous, but that is not your that is a concern of yours right now, but that's not your mission right now.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, unless there's something else that we needed to do specifically after we wait and we see things are fine, get the Mirage Arcana, I'm just going to leave it here because there's no reason to the last 10 days. So any form of ruse for an attacking group, I'm fine with leaving it here.
You never know, right?
That might throw off converging armies, which would be funny. Like, where is everybody?
That is the main issue. So you're going to go meet back up with the army, which, moved a little bit out of the town.
Of course.
Okay. Anything else any of the rest of you want to do while you're resting and taking a few moments?
No,
just do the Song of Rest, yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So when you head back up with the army, and you maybe, as you do, General, as you're moving on your pony, you maybe like show like a big teeth of the thing. And of course, I said the teeth aren't very impressive from a monster hunting trophy perspective. It is huge. It is like a But you do that. The soldiers are like, hey, and cheer. And one of the paladins actually, you see just like, go that way. We must seize the bodies and make sure that they are. This is completely no longer a threat. And of course, they do trust you, but of course, they send people out to check just because you probably should.
Warn them of the depth and birth of the tunnels that they're going to encounter within the illusions.
Wait, say that again? I totally scotted. I 100% scotted, and I was aware it was happening as it was happening. But I was so invested in my coffee.
Warn them of just more or less give them a heads up of the tunnels and all the details.
that's more or less the thing that you know they should really keep watch on these tunnels just in case, right? So that's what they go ahead and do. And then it's more or less a matter of amassing an army over the next couple of days until you have enough forces here, and the word has been spread to the other parts of Goldport long enough that you can start the attack.
Okay. If there's anything else that we can do before we go to bed, last thing I would do is, at least as of right now, sending one more time just to give word to the king, like to the emperor, that the tunnels of the creatures that attacks them stretched as far as this village, and that while they might be dangerous to traverse for us, they are a potential pathway for our foes.
There's very little reply. There's a understood, and I am wholeheartedly glad that these monsters have been slain. Oh, that's all.
Nope. Your nephew sends his love and adoration.
So is there anything else you guys want to do to sort of prepare a little bit more over this night, over the next couple of days? Like I said, it's really going to be a couple of days of amassing as many of the forces as they can in this one point, and then you're heading off with the army, so you're going to have like a week and a bit, and then you're back at the city of the dead.
Really just waiting to hear back from the halflings, but I imagine it's going to take a couple days or whatever for us to get the word back. So no rush.
I was just don't think there's anything special.
No.
Not really, no.
Kumbaya.
So it's one of those things that, after that battle, you do rest, you do sleep, you rest in tents and things, and some of the people do go back to the keep, but you keep the war camp mostly out of it, just in case something like this happens again. And you do deal with actual undead scouts coming out this far, and the scouts that you fight are actually things like wraiths instead of skeletons. These spectral entities instead, but are mostly usually like dispelled with holy fire or light. Actually, in the next day, you do have a small group of halfling soldiers ride up here, and they do report to you that they are bringing together as many of the fighting families as they can. But of course, you're just aware halflings don't have a huge fighting force. The more thing that you give, and actually you just said this earlier, is scouting. It's actually one of those things I've almost prepared like lists, and I'm not doing it in this game, but there's rules for wartime combat, which are really cool. I was tempted to do it for this game, but I'm not going to. And halflings are brilliant. They're just natural scouts. They're natural scouts who, the ones that are joining you are, probably several points in Druid or Ranger. They have a way with the natural land, and they're going to lead you away to a place where, while the main siege is going on, they're going to be sapping defenses, they're going to be leading groups of humans into undefended places, they're going to be even setting up ambushes in forests and leading forces of the undead to it. That's really the aim. So while there's the human force here and the banners are starting to align over the next couple of days, small groups of halflings are coming, but there's only really like 3 or 4 people from each town who are coming together. But you know that they are, true fighters.
Cool. The last point of why to bring the piece to the dwarves was to make sure that, because I don't know how invested the dwarves were beyond this one representative, but to make sure that one representative can really rally behind the fact that this person, their cause has already brought them deep enough into the underground that it is affected to where it is that they would reach creatures that affect their communities. So this isn't a surface world problem. This is supposed to, go through the layers of.
This is actually totally something that can be role played while you're bringing this together. Do you straight up say something like, "Why are the dwarves not bannering under us?" But in a more casual way.
Before I say that, before I jump into the RP, and I definitely imagine at least 2 of the others are joining this RP as well. When we were looking at the table, did we see any dwarven banners?
So, interesting enough, the table. So the table would be here. They took it with them. In that now you'd have sort of a wartime tent. Actually, no. Now that you've been out of there, the war cat, the like actual whole table setup has been taken back to the keep, while the main army is sort of off to the side. The keep is still where this is going on, but you aren't spending a lot of your time in here. you're sort of going over the actual armies themselves. When you look at it, actually the Dwarven lands, so if you open up a map of Jarviskjir, the Dwarven lands are not on the map. It's sort of just that up to the mountains of Northenden and down to the breach. But there is one Dwarven hold on there, which is Copperbeard's hold. That is on that map, and it does have tokens there for its armed forces, which are very large. Smaller than the amounts, somewhere between where the humans that you have here and the halflings that you're bringing here, which of course now when you're looking at the map, there's the halflings as they're being pushed along and the small groups. You know, they have a fairly nice sized army that's sort of sitting there in that dwarven city. And if you
But
look
all
at
in
the
the
map,
city, none have moved outwards.
if you look at the map, Copperbeard's hold is really close to Lichvale. So yeah, they all say there, and so that's what you see on that as you go to approach a dwarf who is usually looking over this map.
Gotcha. Okay. So so the I would probably, like, you know, with the, again, at least them coming along or whatever, just say,
Whoever wants to be here can be here.
you know, we've noticed that what's that? I'm sorry, what's the Lich's name again?
Verminous.
Verminous. We've noticed that Verminous's reach is clawed deep enough into the Underdark that he's been able to pull to the surface some nasties that your peoples are familiar with. It seems as though no layer of earth is going to be able to defend against his will and his plans. I saw the armies amassing at Copperbear's hold, probably those that already existed there, but always holding in that position. That being said, which of them are joining the cause, and what of the other dwarven nations? The dwarven cities?
Copperbeard's hold is our defense against Vanateth. We're pulling together our armies there to make sure that his troops do not enter our lands. The other cities send their soldiers that they can spare when they're not bloodying against the bows of the elves, or multitude of other monstrosities that exist on the surface of our lands. But we hold there to defend our people. He finds much more suitable, much more profitable, it seems, Verminous to grab from the lands of humanity now. So as long as we defend ourselves, we dwarves are safe.
One should always prize their own family, their own kin, their own home above the others. And one should strive in many ways to defend that family and that home above all others. I understand this. This is why wars are waged, especially with the humans, to defend their lands. But defense is done in many ways. I've learned with the different peoples that I've warred against and along over the years that war is not just fought behind a shield. Defense is not just had behind a wall. Sometimes the greatest defense is to completely take out the threat in its entirety, meaning that holding that ground, defending that home, is of the utmost importance to the dwarves, but eliminating the threat altogether will save the dwarves even more heartache in the long run. The dwarves need to send banners to join the fray, to aid in the fight. Otherwise, when everything else is ash around them, they will fall as well.
So the dwarf sort of runs his finger along the actual quite sharp edge of the buckler he has on his belt, and just sort of nods to himself like, so what you're suggesting in a long-winded halfling way is the best offense, or the best defense is a good offense.
Send bannermen to aid our cause. And with this, I kind of like give like a friendly tap or slap or whatever it would be, whatever's appropriate to Riel to kind of like take over at this point, because this is more her fight than it is mine, because this is more her army than it is mine.
Riel is a little bit hesitant. She's clearly a little bit uncomfortable, like with the fact he's a dwarf. He says, "Our nations have a past, but working together to take out a greater enemy like this would benefit both of us and could forge us stronger ties in the future so that we would not have to shed each other's blood again.
Even I can see the advantage of you attacking one side, us attacking another. I'll send letters. Copperbeard's hold is a hold designed for this purpose centuries ago, to defend against the undead. This call to arms might not be something the lords of other cities care for and our High Lord, but it will probably, it'll probably stir the blood of the people of Copperbeard's Hold to at least send some banners in your aid. This is why I'm here, after all.
Riel gives a slight bow of that, and it's clearly still a little bit like this doesn't come naturally to her, but she gives a slight bow as like, you have my gratitude.
I think we can all agree here that this isn't just a call to arms, but a call to arms and armor. There are many of the dwarves that will want to stay in their homes and defend their kin. But nobody here can argue that the greatest forges in all of Jarviskjir are going to be those in the dwarven mines. Weapons, armor, beyond the arms to swing the blades and the arms to carry them, will aid us in the long run.
Issue is getting them onto your side would be nigh impossible.
There's a long way, and I'm sure you've trekked it many times in the past, if not yourself, then your kin.
We can send some bannermen with supplies up around Lillywaif's forests. I suppose if we can get past gnomes. He sort of thinks, and while he's saying all of this, he's sort of getting out parchments and papers and things, and starting to wet a quill with ink. He does think for a bit. I wonder if you would even be able to convince gnomes and dragons and elves on this cause, but I imagine
Riel is definitely openly scowling at the mentions of gnomes and
the way he says it is like it's more or less a joke, but it's like one of those like when you joke, but it's like it could actually be true, but I'm not really taking this seriously. And he starts penning down dwarven runes on the paper, which is very weird because dwarves rarely write on paper, because it's this weird combination of him being like a merchant dwarf. And just starts like sort of humming to himself about that. If the intent is to attack as fast as possible, then I don't know how much arms and armor we can bring to you. But if this message travels with haste, well, maybe we'll be able to get some equipment to your armies.
Everyone knows that the dwarves' best place in a battlefield is behind their shields. I don't mean this as a disrespect, I mean this as a point of honor. The humans will press the line, and the dwarves will hold it, and to give a place where one may take rest and bend the wounded. There's many places that the different kin can be on the battlefield and lend each other aid. A pincer tactic is a wonderful one, but there are other ways that we can aid one another. As for the other races, I don't think any of us are foolish enough to think that the elves would jump into any cause that isn't their own. But if they see you're working with us, you and your kin, perhaps they will relent a little bit on their own wars against the humans, allowing focuses to be sent elsewhere.
He nods, and actually when you say that, you can tell he starts writing something, he pauses and starts writing something completely different. And in the next couple of hours, after he sends off those letters, you guys with the pyroclergy and other generals that have come into this situation as each, army comes together. And you actually can tell, Riel, one of the main forces in Yavin as an empire is a very large army that defends, essentially, the Forest of Frigid Mists. It would be where Northenden is in modern Jarviskjir. There's a very large armied force here with entire barracks, because that's where the Dragon kin are. And there's really no reason for either side to push into those places, aside from both sides just hate each other. and there's
I've
just
done my
constant
time
warring
on that
because of it.
front.
Exactly, you've been there quite a lot, and you can actually tell that like one of the main generals whose duty has been for the whole of their life, someone who's as old as you and you've served under them, has been defend that place. Those armies are here now, not necessarily all of them again. This isn't stupid enough that they leave places undefended, but they take nearly everyone to this fight, and you now have several more generals around the table, and they start building this plan, Scott, as you mentioned, where the humans are gonna come in from their side, dwarves are gonna come in from their side, and then almost make a defensive bubble around the lines to create that defensive barrier while the humans fight and the halflings sort of just do general subterfuge, and that plan is being made. And why don't we make a short little break before we finish off our last hour? Because you gotta have your breaks. You gotta stay hydrated. Otherwise,
Drinking coffee. Coffee makes you want to pee.
Yep. With that intellectual comment, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
I go pee.